Hello and welcome to Yin Yoga with intention of raising our vibrations. So we are going to do a few set of poses, four, maybe five, and they will help us to clear energy in the hips, in the spine, and in the chest and shoulders and heart and lungs, and just kind of update those layers so that we feel a little bit more vibrant after our practice together and a little bit more open to receive new layers of information and new layers of vibrancy into our physical and energetically body or bodies. So take a comfortable seat, and you might want to sit cross-legged. I'm going to start into a ankle stretch and just kind of starting to clear some layers from the feet and through the legs so that the ankles are nice and open. So today we'll sit together for a few moments and take the hands in our lap and just sit. And of course we will take pillows or blocks or anything that we need to be more comfortable in each and every pose. Let's close our eyes and center together. Taking 3 nice, clearing, cleansing breaths to all parts of the body. And gently bring your hands together in front of your heart, keeping the nice, calm energy that we just created by just sitting together. If you'd like to join me in an Om, we'll take a nice big inhale and exhale the sound of Om together. Take a nice big inhale. And release the hands, and we'll come into a supported back bend with either a pillow. You can take a nice hard or a few of them pillows and stack up on the long way. I'm going to use my blocks today to raise my chest up. And so we're going to take one block for the middle upper back right below the shoulder blades. And so it's not on the shoulder blades and it's not on the lower back, it's right below the shoulder blade tips. You can kind of hug the shoulder blades onto the block with the very tips. And that way we kind of get into the space where it can get a little congested in that upper middle back, where it doesn't bend all that well, and where it can get a little congested in the lungs and in the heart center. And then the second block is onto the back of the head. Now the second block can be certainly a little higher and for more support, or it can be a little lower, so depending on where it feels the best for you. I'm going to put mine on the same. So supported back bend with pillows or on blocks. You can have your feet bent, you can knock your knees together, or you can stretch your legs out in front. And we have about 20 breaths here to elevate the chest, to let any stagnant energy in the upper body release and surface out that we don't need with each exhale. So we'll just take some nice, even breaths throughout the body. and enjoying finding a nice passive form in supported back bend. Maybe you're sticking with your nice deep ujjayi breaths. Maybe you're coming into some nice even calming, less strenuous breathing pattern than ujjayi. Just simply letting the breath come and go through all layers, and especially into the bottom of the heart, into the lungs, into the chest, and into that upper middle back area. We have about 10 more breaths here together. And 3 more breaths. And gently bend your knees and open the eyes and support yourself to either come up and support yourself with your hands or come onto your side. And we're going to take the blocks to the side. We don't need them anymore. Put them all the way over and then come all the way down onto your back and lay nice and flat. You might kind of pull the belly in and just get a nice big elongation of the whole spine to clearing anything that needs to kind of be breathed out, and then come back into a neutral spine. Take your feet on each side of the yoga mat, and the next pose is windshield wiper with your right knee into the center, straight down from the hip. It will go in and kind of get deeper into the layers of the ascending colon and to the whole right side of the belly. And you might have your left knee out to the side and your ankle on the floor, or you might take your ankle onto the right knee and going to find a passive way to lay, or you have your ankle to the side. Adjusting so it feels comfortable for you. You can take your arms over your head, and you can even take that right arm up and just support it into the left hand, the right wrist into the left hand, just like a little shelf. So there's no pulling, no tugging. It is just a nice passive place to be, where we get to clean and clear the whole right side of the hip, really all the way from the ankle and knee and up through the thigh and up through the hip area on the right side and all the way up towards the shoulder and armpit. And just lay right here, clearing out any debris in the right side of the belly, in the right side of the ascending colon. Any old patterns have a chance to update and come into some new ways of being. Relaxing our toes, relaxing the muscles. Letting the arms be heavy, shoulder blades are flat onto the back. Just staying here, letting the pose do its magic work and go into the deeper layers, to the fascia, the connective tissue, the ligaments, the joints. And I like to hold the poses for about 20 breaths, which equals 3 minutes-ish, and that way we know that it's gone beyond the muscles and into the layers where it needs to go to reach the meridians and clean and clear and raise our vibrations into the deeper layers and get rid of any old patterns and bringing in some nice new fresh patterns to think and to be and to move. Another 5 breaths here. And gently release the hands, and with the knees up towards the sky, the ceiling, let's switch it to the second side. Feet on each side of the yoga mat. Tip your left knee down in the center and the right knee out to the side. I like to adjust my ankle a little bit so it feels comfortable. Taking the right hand around the left wrist, just like a nice little shelf, like a nice supportive for the wrist to be just held, really, and just so that there's an emphasis on elongation on the left side of the waist and of the belly. You might take your ankle over your knee for a little more if that is your comfort zone for 20 breaths. My comfort zone is the leg off of the knee. And then we'll just let this deep stretch go in towards the left side of the waist where we have the descending colon, lots of lymph. Just want to get in there and update the vibrancy on our digestive system. Relaxing our toes, relaxing the muscles. And just being. Being as passive as we possibly can. Checking in with our legs, that they're relaxing so the stretch can go in towards the left side of the hip, to the quad, through all the layers of the left hip, all the way up towards the shoulder, maybe even all the way up towards the elbow. directing the breath to any of the areas that is kind of speaking up and needs a little extra oxygen to release. Another 3 breaths here. And slowly open your eyes and bring your knees back up, feet flat, hands to the side. And maybe you like to lift your hips up as a little counter stretch or as a little even out the layers, and then take it all the way back down. From here, we are going to come into a chest opener. So we're going to open the layers in the hips and the stomach and spleen meridian that runs through the hips and the front of the thigh. So that should feel pretty good and pretty open. From here, come onto all fours, and then we're going to come over onto the right hip. Stack your knees so that they are aligned with your belly button. So it's kind of just like this with your knees in. And then I'm gonna come back here and take the right arm out to the side. So the arm can be straight out, or you can bend your arm for a little bit more in towards your chest and shoulder. If the arm is straight out, it's a little bit more shoulder. If the arm is bent, you'll notice that you get more in towards the layers of the pectorals, into the layers of the space between the ribs. So see what works for you. And the side of the head comes towards the floor. Bring your knees up so that they are aligned with your chest, with your belly button. And then we'll stay right there and enjoy that. So bend your right arm behind you and enjoy your right side of the head towards the floor. And it can get a little intense towards the shoulder, towards the chest area. Knee over knee, hip over hip, and maybe the left hand stays down. Maybe your left arm comes behind and just kind of lays over the kidney area, over the side of the waist. And then from here, being as passive as we can, staying within our comfort zone for the next 20 breaths, and just letting the layers unravel in the right shoulder, in the right chest area, knowing that we are updating and targeting the meridians of the heart, the pericardium, the lung meridians, by opening the chest and the shoulder. Updating vibrancy of communication to all body layers. And just laying, just being. Sinking through the layers with each breath. There might be a new opening with each breath. You might notice holds in your body that you can breathe into and release even further.
Staying for 3 more breaths. And gently take your left hand and moving yourself supportedly all the way up and over to the second side, taking yourself over onto your left hip and pulling your knees in towards your chest. The left arm either comes straight out or you can bend it for your chest opener. And I feel like the key is to really pull those knees in so that they're aligned with your hips or even further up towards the belly button. And the left arm comes out, and bend your arm out here in a nice 90-degree angle or so, whatever is comfortable for you, to get in towards your chest and your shoulder and the side of the neck. And you might have your right hand supporting you and your arm on the floor, or you might take that right arm behind you and coming into your version of the most yummiest chest and shoulder opener. Having your right arm behind you. And adjusting the pressure on your left shoulder and chest by just kind of finding a good spot for that palm to be, and then just fully get passive into your pose. And just knowing by just laying here, we're updating and raising vibrations in towards the meridians of the heart and the pericardium and the lungs that runs through the shoulders, out the arms. By staying here for a longer time so that the stretch can sip into those layers and help us feel a little bit more vibrant. Sinking into a comfortable spot and being as passive as we can. Checking in with the toes and the ankles and the knees, the hips, that they're not kind of put on duty to hold the pose for you. We're just kind of in the pose. Breathing to any layers that stick out for some more oxygen. Three more breaths here. And slowly open your eyes, support yourself with your hands, and come back up to all fours. And you can arch your spine, give yourself a couple of cat-cows, plug in the shoulders, the upper arms, feeling some new space in the hips and the shoulders. And then from here we're going to come and take a seat, and you might bring your pillow with you. Maybe you'll take a pillow, or maybe you have a block, or maybe you won't decide not to have anything. But I want you to know that you could put your pillow right here on top of the thighs for caterpillar pose. It's the next one, or a seated forward fold. And it's nice to have a little something between the thighs and the torso for some support in the back if you needed to. Then being right here feels pretty good. And then we can just relax the head down. And I wanted to end with this pose, like the caterpillar pose, to kind of go from our open back and spine and heart and chest and lungs into 2 different twists, and then we kind of close up the practice right here and make sure that we just kind of seal the new vibrations that we created for ourselves. So the feet are hip widths apart, and you have your pillow or your blocks, and then you get to just come all the way down with your head towards the pillow and relax your whole spine. And relax the whole back of the legs, front of the legs, relax the arms, and be as passive as we possibly can. And just get a nice kind of closure to our practice with the forward fold. So we'll stay here for about 20 breaths and update the spine, update the legs, the feet, the arms, the shoulders, the neck. Letting the body just be as passive as possible to sink into the layers of the back, of the seat, of the hips, shoulders. We'll stay for another 5 breaths here. slowly make your way back up. And you can use your pillow to sit on if you like. I'm going to come back and sit on my ankles and just kind of making sure that the ankles are free and clear so that the 7,000 nerve endings in each foot has some good vibrancy after we are finished with this practice together. So let's come back to seated and take your hands into your lap with your right palm over your left, and we'll take 20 breaths of just sitting nice and tall and letting all the layers that we opened up, the meridians, the energy fields, the vibrancy of nutrients coming from the blood, maybe a little deeper into the layers. We'll just sit with that for 20 breaths together and letting all the outer layers be nice and soft and our inner layers be bright. Just by sitting in stillness, we sync up all the layers that is meant for us, that sometimes is hovering around us, but there might not be a new space for it to sip into. And by cleaning and clearing our bodies, there is a chance for some new information, for some bright new vibrations to come into our layers. And gently bringing the hands together in front of the heart. And we'll close our yin practice today with another Om to sync ourselves up and to sync ourselves up with each other and those that are around us. We'll take a nice big inhale. And may our vibrancy be updated, and may we share it with those around us, and may we be open to something new today. Thank you so much for joining. Namaste, everyone.